This is not a drill. Chainlink is up nearly 20% today. Yes, this is the Sergey shirt. Yes, that is the Chainlink sign. Yes, that is Chainlink going up and doing something for a first time in a long time. Let's take a look at it. We'll start off on the 4-hour chart. We'll zoom out to the bigger time frames, know what we're looking at, know what you can do to be one step ahead of the next guy. So let's get right to it. The 4-hour chart, the Gaussian channel, right? We're going to cover that on all time frames as well. So we'll get to these lines, this zone, right? Here's our resistance zone. We're up in there now. How big is it? Well, we'll look at that on the bigger time frames. But the Gaussian channel turning from red to green on the 4-hour, price action above it. You have two check marks. That's what you want to look for. The channel to turn green, the channel to also have the price action above it, and then your odds just improve of you going higher in the not so distant future. Doesn't mean immediate, but we went up, right? So, and then go look at the last time this happened, right? Same thing. Gaussian channel, red, going to green, price action above it. Doesn't mean you have to go up immediately. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but higher prices likely, right? It's just more bullish scenario. So Gaussian channel can speak volumes for you, and I would suggest adding it to your toolkit if you don't already. So that's the 4-hour chart. Now we're in resistance now. So how big of resistance? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look. The daily, right? We're approaching the underside retest of where we've been, right? Last time was in April. But if you spy with your little eye, what do we have here? The green flash on the Gaussian channel. Yet again, our price is above the channel. Yes, we also have two check marks, right? So channel green, price is above, check, check, right? So that is a good sign. However, the secret sauce is on the 5-day. The daily can have fake outs, as you can see right back here, right? So the 5-day has the least amount of fake outs, the most confirmation, and that's what you want to follow for the most part. Now, have we turned green yet? We'll get to it in just a moment. But the daily chart has just turned green for the first time, right? We turned red back in May, and now back to green. Obviously, if you're doing 20% a day, that can help do that. So we'll see how prices interact with this resistance zone. Let's zoom out a little bit. You can see also, I want to address this line, right? When we broke out of previous high, where did we come back to and retest? Right on that high. That is also a bullish sign. So if you missed the move up, you wait for a breakout and the move back down. That's called a throwback, and it's a bullish retest. If it holds that level, which it should if it's bullish, it's going to do something big. And there you go, right? So this is the result of that. So just keep this in mind for altcoins. If you're not quite in yet and you missed the initial move, wait for a retest of the previous breakout. Oftentimes you're going to get it right on it. So there you go. So now going back to our resistance zone. How long of a resistance zone is this? Well, it's a hell of a long time. This gets cleaned up a little bit. You can look how many fake outs on the Gaussian channel, right? For Chainlink, sideways price action for just a year or so. So no big deal there. But let's zoom out to the weekly and kind of clean up that resistance zone. Actually, let's zoom in a little bit. How about the 5-day? Right? The 5-day Gaussian channel. I have a feeling this is likely to flip green as long as Chainlink doesn't nuke back down or Bitcoin doesn't spoil the party for us, which it's trying its damnedest today, isn't it? Bitcoin was climbing up the stairs and then it decided to take a trip to Bearsville out the window just for momentarily. The past hour, Bitcoin has been melting faces to the downside. Hopefully it can find support. We'll address that at a later point. So, resistance zone on the 5-day, right? The 5-day Gaussian channel on the verge of turning green. I would suspect in the next handful of weeks. Could it do it this week? Maybe. I'd say we're going to have to be, knocking on the door of $9 or higher if we want it to happen this week, right? We got to be above the channel to bring the channel up. That's what turns it green. So your prices are going to have to be above 856 as of right now to be above the channels. But big things, right? How many neon green bars do you see here? 1 back in April and 2 today. As of today, right? This is our first one. We need a couple up here. We haven't had more than one in over a year, right? We've been red on this channel since flipping red back in January of 2022, not 23. 2022 is where this channel turned red, right? At the good old prices of $15, right? So that's what we're looking for, right? This is the zone, right? We've hit it 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s times. I would even 6, right? You can extend this zone way the hell back here. right? We need to break back above $9 to really get some headroom. Now, this is a hell of a start, being that we were at $5 not that long ago, right? Sub $5. So if you bought anywhere but before today, you're doing pretty good, right? Now, taking profits into resistance is always a decent idea. If you're well, like money, right? You don't really buy off of a 20% long. You bought anytime prior to this, right? You don't have to sell, right? If you're long term, fine, but you don't buy here, right? You wait for a breakthrough, and then buy above there. I would say, above the channel, maybe a little bit, the 100-week or the 100 mark here. Let's zoom out a little bit more, right? This is where it becomes a little bit more ultra clear. The Gaussian channel on the let's remove the Gaussian, right? That we're approaching resistance right at the median, and we found resistance right on the median, right? So that's there's a reason that's thicker, right? The median Gaussian channel on any time frame is where you, by definition, flip more bullish. The upper tier of the separated by twos, right? See that? Halves, right? The lower tier is more bearish, right? Under the channel, very bearish. But at least we're back in it. If we can close a weekly candle above 8:30 this week in 3 days, 9 hours, this whole entire bar will turn neon green for the first time in a hell of a long time, right? Last time we had that, we're going back to January of 2022, right? So keep that in mind. Upper tier, right? That's when prices turn bullish, right? Let's go back and look just in history really quick. And last time we did this, right? Red, not long, right? Chainlink hasn't had a whole lot of red channels. Obviously, the longest in history right now. From red to green, prices are above it, right? And then the good stuff comes, right? The neon bars, right? Right here, right? The closing above the weekly is where you can get your first signs of massive moves coming. So that's what we're looking for to really get us moving, right? So that's where we're at. That's what you should be looking for on the bigger time frames, the smaller time frames. You're looking for a breakout, a clear-cut breakout. I think we start to get that with a close this week or next or whenever the hell it wants to, above 8:30, right? This is slowly falling here, still falling. So if it's next week, it'd be a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. But we need a clear sign. This is a good step in the right direction, but we're at resistance. Make no mistake. We've tapped perfectly off the weekly Gaussian channel. So let's remove that to kind of clear it up a little bit, right? And now we get back to our chart that we're all familiar with, which is, been just sideways for over a year and a half now, seemingly 87 years, like the Titanic Ruth there. But the 200-week will be where we can really pick up steam. The 200-week, any coin above the 200-week, that's when you can really gain momentum. So over $9, right? 9 to 10 is where Chainlink will start to break. So if you're you take some profits here, maybe it goes back down a little bit. The 21-week would be a great spot to add. Not financial advice, but that's what you should be looking at, right? You break out up. If we come back down in the coming weeks, right, that's a place to add at. Or you wait and you want to be super safe and you don't want to take any risks, or at least minimize your risks, right? You buy above this zone because there's nothing else there, right? You can just, you're above all your moving averages, you're above the 200-week. It's go time above that 9 to 10, right? That's where Chainlink is final breakthrough point. All right, enough rambling. Let's one more important thing. Altcoin season index as of today is now back into not Bitcoin season, right? We've been in Bitcoin season since early April, right? That's almost 3 months now, and now we finally got a flip, right? No longer is it Bitcoin season. It's not alt season yet. But this was saying it's Bitcoin season. It's no longer Bitcoin season. We have now broken, this is what we've been waiting for. If you watch any of my videos, we've been waiting for a higher high. We got it. We just held resistance at 22, 22 again, 22. And then finally today, as of right now, really, in the past few hours, a new high. So this refreshes throughout the day. Track it if you don't already. blockchaincenter.net, altcoin season index. I think altcoins are preparing in their loading docks here for some bigger moves. As long as Bitcoin can play nice, it doesn't have to move up, right? As Bitcoin just doesn't tank and kick the bucket, Chainlink, altcoins included, will not only continue up, but I think make bigger moves to the upside and start to flourish pretty hard here to levels not seen since January, February. Remember how good those times were for altcoins? that time might be approaching again soon. So word to your mother. All right, quote of the day. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. One of the better quotes in the history of mankind right there by Senor Confucius. The Mexican, as we all know. Dumb. Okay, Crypto Fear and Greed Index. We made a new kind of local low yesterday at 50, back up a little bit today, but we'll see how it ends up closing. We're still in greed, but we're at neutral, right? We're just barely in greed, so nothing really take away from that as of now. Let's get to our card of the day, and going with the blue theme, Chainlink thing, might as well wrap this Paris Blue 720S in a Chainlink logo. I think I'd probably do that. We'll get this in Paris Blue and then put like the Chainlink logo right on the damn side of it, right? Maybe coming in the near future. All right, there's the doors up, right? I love that they got the same picture. Didn't move it. Doors up, and then got to get the rear. What's not to like? All right, I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, share it, like it, love it. If you want more content, find us on Patreon, private Telegram there. Happy to help you out.